What's up? It's cold. All right. Just thought I'd start a little early. Tegan should be here. Hello. Welcome to the office. Welcome to the Cartalk office where the magic happens. Yo, yo, yo. Woo! Just calming those nerves down. I'm really excited. I can't believe it. Can you? How's everyone doing? What time is it? How do I turn up my brightness on my screen, on my computer? Here we go. Okay, we got a few minutes, y'all. We got a few minutes. Maury's in the chat. Maury is my guitar player. You should all follow. Maury makes music. She's dope. I feel like I need like a glass of water. Yeah, welcome to the office. This is relatively new. Hey, Maddie. Oh my God, I love you too. Wow, I wish you were here. Anyways, thanks for joining in today. I'm going to be talking songwriting and process with Tegan. Also, I don't know if anyone is stoked for the movie Happiest season that Tegan and Sarah wrote a song for. It's called Make You Mine This Season. I'm ready for that movie. I'm ready for some holiday cheer. Yeah. It's a nice day in Southern California. It's, we just got mentioned in their story. I'm assuming that, they will join in soon. That's how that works, right? They join in on the chat? Yeah. Can I request somebody? I'm gonna just look at my computer. What's up? I'm hosting a Zoom party for Happiest season. Oh, tight. All right, there they are. Here comes Tegan, waving. Request, view request, go live. Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going real good. How are you?
I'm good. Hold on a second. I was putting my phone against my computer and then it was making very scary purple lines. Okay, that seems better. Hi.
Mine is also on my computer. Hello, how are you?
I'm very good. It's so nice to meet you over the internet. I mean, I wish it was in person, but it's nice to meet you.
One day, I know. I feel like there are some wild positive sides of this crazy time that we're in, and meeting a lot of people over the internet and making those relationships. The internet's pretty cool. For that
The internet is not always a burning trash can, which is what I usually think of it as. And social media, I mean, I say this all the time, but I think about the first decade of our career, I felt so lonely and I just craved, I just always wanted to meet more artists, and I feel like that's been the one thing that I can say that social media has been super useful for is meeting other artists, and just during the pandemic, at least a dozen new bands that I just love, you included, and Pom Pom Squad and Oceanator, and just so many things that I just feel like I would have missed out on because I'm old. And I also hate music writing for whatever reason. I just hate reading about music. And so I just don't know sometimes about bands. Anyway, it's just lovely to meet you.
Oh, well, I mean, likewise, lovely, we're fanboying for a minute. Unreal, just very unreal. So cool. Thank you for listening to the record and all the kind words. And
The record's so
I
good. If anyone watching is a Tegan and Sarah fan that doesn't know, you have this brilliant record that you just put out that's just really, really beautiful. It's great for making dinner.
oh
Um,
oh I love dinner.
yeah, it's just great. You just put it on when you start making your dinner,
Okay.
and no, you're just so talented. You're really wonderful, and I'm just very happy for you that you have such a great record, and I can see a very good long career for you ahead.
Oh, that is, I mean, that's the hope, that's the dream, and really, it's just nice to, you know, connect with other people. And I've had a few folks reach out, being like, "Thank you for this record. It's providing a lot of healing," and that is, why you know, why I do what I do, just to relate to other people. And I know that I'm sure you can relate to me when I say it, is that we're all just here to make connections and make relationships and
Absolutely.
try to be there for one another in whatever way that we can. And if that's writing a song and helping someone to feel like they're not alone, then there you go.
What do you feel like is I mean, it must be such a wild thing to put a record out during a pandemic. I know for Sarah and I, we're so on the fence about if we want to put a new record out next year because we know we probably won't be able to tour. And for
Right.
me, the touring experience, getting to connect with people in person, stand on stage, see everyone's faces, hear them singing, that's like the payoff
Yeah.
for making a record.
Right.
But what you're describing is so significant too, and I forget that sometimes. It's the relationship you end up having as a fan, as a music lover with a record in your own space, in your own home, on your own
Yeah.
time. That's really significant too. So I'm curious, like I don't know much about your career thus far. Like have you done a ton of touring? Do you feel any sadness about these songs not being played live right now? Like talk me through that.
Right. So we're
See how I've done
relatively.
this too, how I'm interviewing you?
Oh, no, 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 I love this. Oh, Tegan, don't you worry. I wrote some questions down. Yeah, I mean, we're relatively new. You know, we've been playing since 2017, but our first single just came out last summer.
Okay.
We've only done one tour, and it was a 2-week tour, West Coast. We went up to Seattle. We played a KEXP session,
Oh,
which
that's
was total,
awesome.
total dream. John Richards, DJ at KEXP, just found us. I do not know how. And he was like, "Hey, if you're ever in the Seattle area, would love to have you." And I messaged him back, and I was like, "Well, actually, I will be on tour in a month up in your neighborhood." And so that happened. That was a dream come true. That was in January. And then we came back here to LA, and we had our residency at the Satellite
Of
in Silver
course.
Lake.
Yep.
Uh,
Great
and
spot.
great spot, but we've played a bunch of spots out here in LA. The hi-hat, the echo, the bootleg. But we were going to do a big tour this summer. You know, I was planning on doing a full cross-country tour of the States and, you know, hopefully play Vancouver and Toronto as well. And then here we are. And it was an interesting time to put out this record. You know, if COVID hadn't happened, I thought it would have been out in the summer and then done the tour, but things change, and I didn't really want to wait. You know, there's a period
Yeah.
where a lot of us were like, okay, when this is over, in like a few months, or who knows, or, you know, and there was a minute where I felt like it wasn't really right to put out music, and then I had been like, all right, sat down with myself, and I don't want to sit on it anymore.
Yeah.
And I think that even though touring can't happen and I can't, you know, play these songs to people who haven't heard them live, that there are other ways that we can make that happen, you know.
Absolutely.
It's just
Well, in
more.
a way too, I feel like what better time to, as certainly as a young, new artist, what better time to also like have the opportunity to connect with people online and
Yeah,
to see how people are reacting to the music. Sometimes when you put a record out and you have to go tour, there's just like this extreme fatigue that takes over and you're stuck in a van for 10 hours a day. And so, I think it's so cool. Plus people need art right now. We need new
exactly.
music.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how I feel too. I've had a handful of friends put out some great records and great singles, and you feel less alone. I live alone, and so there's music always on, you know, this internet or playing an actual physical record. You're loading. But
I might,
oh
sorry,
wait, oh
I,
no,
I might have really bad service, which I
There was.
apologize. I know I
It's
warned
okay.
you. I warned you a bit because I'm on an island.
I know,
And
you told me you're on an island. How fun. Also, let me just side note, completely unrelated. I love your orange beanie. I recently tweeted about orange is kind of one of my favorite colors. Where can I find an orange beanie? And people were posting back. So I love the orange.
I wish I could tell you where I got it from, but I don't even remember. It's been with me a long time. I want to say it was probably some sort of like Urban Outfitters purchase on tour, like a decade ago or something.
Love it. Yeah.
Do you
Beautiful.
can you see me and hear me okay?
I can hear you and I can see you.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay,
You
good.
were loading for a second. How about me? Am I all right?
Yeah, you come in and out a little bit, but it's like I said, it's probably my fault because my partner and I, we just got a cabin on an island off the West Coast, and so the internet can be both really good and really bad, sometimes in the same minute.
Okay. Well, we're making it happen. It's like those fun technical difficulties at a live show, but we're just on the internet.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't stress me out anymore. I'm like, good, technical difficulties, fun. We did this like Sarah and I did a show called Where Does the Good Grow every week when the pandemic
I know.
started. Yeah. And there were so many things that happened that I think I just became desensitized where I thought, I mean, the worst has happened, so
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah, we've all experienced some little technical difficulties. Let's not get too wild about it, you know?
Yeah, it's fine.
I guess something that I wanted to ask you and something that I'm currently kind of trying to figure out is there is feeling that spark with writing, that creativity, that pull when you come across a line or come across a story that you want to tell. And I want to try to word this correctly. What is when you're waiting for the spark of writing, to put it that way, versus laying down the line and being disciplined? It's like that battle between creativity and being disciplined with your craft, and kind of trying to figure out when, if the spark isn't coming and you don't feel that thing. And sometimes you don't always feel that thing, the pull. When and how do you be like, okay, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to try to write about this thing that I've been wanting to write about? And I don't know if it's really a question, but it's something that I'm trying to figure out right now, is trying to write about things, whether it's my life. I mean, mainly it's my life, and that pull isn't coming.
Yeah. I think this is the eternal struggle of all artists, probably in every discipline and field, is having the discipline, to use your word, to sit down and do your job. I think we also have to constantly remind ourselves as artists and creatives that it is our job. I mean, it's also our hobby, it's also our passion, it's also like a form of therapy, but it is our job. And so scheduling for me, and this is obviously from a Virgo, who's kind of OCD, it's like I really do I work business hours. My partner leaves for work at 8:30 and I'm at some form of a desk or, in a creative space until 5:30. I've always worked during that window. I'm not a nighttime worker, and but I give myself tons of leash, where sometimes part of my process is just wandering around cleaning or listening to podcasts. And then again, to borrow another word, a spark will happen and I'll, or sometimes I describe it as an itch, and I'll need to sit down and mess around on the guitar. But I would say Sarah is a much more disciplined songwriter than I am. I work very quickly. I'm very impatient. I go from, if I can put a couple chords together in a melody that's even remotely interesting, I almost immediately want to record it, and I get on the computer and start laying down, basic scratch tracks, whereas Sarah will work on something forever. And I think it shows in the more nuanced and more layered lyrical depth in her writing. And it's something I've definitely tried to do better and more of. But I was hoping that when we finished high school, our memoir, because I would write 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. It was so much work and it was very disciplined. I thought that would spill over to music. It has not.
Okay. Yeah. It's a different lane,
It really is. And that's fine. I mean, I think we have to be really easy on ourselves because like any other job, my mom's a social worker, for example, sometimes she loves her job, but there are days where you feel exhausted and you're not necessarily at your best. All of us need to make room for also just having days that aren't particularly great or productive.
Yeah, completely. Yeah. Sometimes you just got hands up and be like, all right, we're gonna lay down for this day or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah, I feel like that's kind of been my challenge right now is, saying like, this is the job. Like this is the job of writing these stories and,
Mm-hmm.
taking the time to do
Mm-hmm.
that when
Absolutely.
when that pull doesn't come initially.
You know, it's sort of one of those funny things too. Like I read this recently. I desperately wish I remember where I read it because I keep talking about it, and afterwards everyone's always like, "Send me the article," and I just cannot remember where I read it. But just talking about how if you want to be an artist or a creative, you have to be willing to do it no matter what.
Yeah.
If there's too many parameters or rules around it, like I want to be a musician, but I don't really want to tour. Or
Right.
I want to be a musician, but I really don't want to have to like compromise my sound or do a deal or like, there's just like the way I applied it to my own life is like, if you're giving yourself, well, I like this, but I don't like that. And I don't think it works. I think that it's certainly speaking again, just from my own experience of 20 plus years in the business is that you kind of really just have to be willing to do it no matter what. When it's hard, when you're sick, when you're lonely, when you don't want to go, when you're going to lose money, when you're going to make money, when you're going to feel kind of uncomfortable, sometimes making compromises that don't initially feel good, but are for the best. Like you have to kind of just be willing to go all in.
Yeah.
To and that's how I feel about songwriting too, is that sometimes it's like uncomfortable or annoying or just sucks. I mean, some of our songs that have become most popular are songs that I just didn't even want to finish, like Living Room,
Wow.
for example. I hated
Okay.
Living Room. I thought it was so annoying.
Uh-huh.
And I thought more annoying than the demo of it was when we recorded it for our record, If It Was You. And, the producers begged me to just let them finish it because I just was over it. And then now for, 15 years, we finish practically every show with it. So it's just, sometimes you just have to see it through,
Yep. Just gotta see it through. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. There's a handful of songs for Cartalk record too, and I'm like, we must continue trudging along, even when you don't want to.
Yeah. Yeah. You just keep making records and they're all going to be, I mean, would be my biggest advice about making records too, is that each one, again, just speaking from the Tegan and Sarah world and our experience, I think our longevity is directly tied to the fact that every record has to be its own thing. You're never gonna make the same record twice if you want to, in my opinion, be a long-term artist. I think even when your audience tells you they want the same record twice,
Yeah.
they don't, and
Yeah.
they have to trust you, and so that means you have to trust yourself too, that the next one you potentially are, it's going to be completely different. It's going to have a completely different feel and vibe and trajectory, and that's totally fine. Don't try to repeat yourself. Like when I write a song that I really love, I don't automatically think, okay, now I'm going to write another one exactly the same way. I like just write completely different. If I write something on the guitar, the next song I write has to be on the piano. Or if I write something in this key, then I need to write the next song in that key. I'm always changing it up because I think the worst thing you can do as a songwriter is just try to repeat yourself.
Right. Yeah. No repeating here.
Do not do it.
Not gonna do it. No. I keep joking with my band that like the next record I want to be like country grunge, like just like.
Oh, I love that. Sounds great.
people have said that we're alt country because I kind of sing with a little bit of a twang, and I'm like, I love that. And somebody came up to me after a show and they're like, "Are you from South Carolina?" And I was like, I'm from Los Angeles, but thank you, love it. But yeah, I'm really curious to see what the next record is going to be like, and
yeah,
we'll see. You have your song just like kind of came out for Happiest Season film. How do you feel about that?
I feel really excited. I mean, for me, I mean, it's always super cool to hear your song in something, like, I remember one time we did a song for, I'm not going to say what brand it was now, but and it was in a commercial really early on in our career. It was a total coup that we got the song, and it was thrilling. Like, I think our first placement was or second placement was in a Scooby-Doo cartoon, and that was also really exciting. It's always super cool to hear your music in a completely different place than you imagined it when you made it. So Happiest Season, which comes out at the end of the month, our friend Clea Duvall co-wrote the movie and directed it, and I'm really proud of her. It's loosely based on her own experience, and I think The movie is really funny and it's really sweet. And obviously, as a queer woman, I still really get excited when there's movies that are aimed, at me, it feels
Yeah.
like, I'm a big Christmas fan. And I remember, we've been friends with Clea for a long time. I remember her telling me about her idea to write a Christmas movie probably 8 years ago or 7 years ago, because we often spend Christmas with Clea. And
Oh,
I'm just really proud of her. I'm proud of women who are getting opportunities to make films, to write or direct. I think that it's really exciting. And um, I when I watched the movie the first time, I just was really excited, and it was thrilling to hear a song in it. And
yeah.
writing the song was really exciting. Sarah and I don't do a lot of songwriting together, and we co-wrote it with Alex Hope, and she's a bright star. I think people will be continuing to hear so much from. She's like 20, 25 years old, and just produced the Alanis Morissette record and did our
Oh,
last record,
okay.
and she's just brilliant. And yeah, so it's a thrill. I'm really excited about it. I also
I
really like Christmas, so the fact that I get to like be associated with something Christmassy is like a
you're
fucking
like,
dream.
all
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I am thrilled. I know the trailer came out yesterday. I have watched it a handful of times, and I
Yeah, and
I
it's
don't want.
interesting. I was reading some of the comments like where people were like, "Oh, do we need another movie about coming out or someone being closeted?" But I think that's maybe very North American of us to just assume everyone's out. Everyone is not
Mhm.
out. It's still very
Yeah,
hard outside of a lot of major cities and outside of North America to come out. I have friends that are really wonderful and they're out to everybody but their parents. I mean, I think that
yeah,
everyone's story is changing, and this sort of like I totally understand the desire all of us have to just have like cool, amazing stories that are about queer people that aren't about being queer. But I think this movie has got a lot of other stuff in it too. I think the trailer is great, but I think
really great.
the movie is really sweet and really funny and has lots of other stuff in it too. So
Yeah, I love the trailer. There was that line like right at the end where Daniel, and I'm also watching Schitt's Creek right now,
oh,
so
so
I
good.
love it so much. I'm not going to say anything if anybody's watching it, but Daniel says that line where like something like just because she hasn't come out yet, like doesn't mean she doesn't love you, and it's like of course it you have to take your time. You can't push anybody to come out, whether they're, even if they wait until later on in life. Like, you don't
Yeah.
have to be 13 and come out if you're not ready. I came out very, very late in my life, and I feel like
Hmm.
I'm forever kind of coming out, and it's a difficult thing, but it's a beautiful thing. And I love that there is this movie out. I'm so thrilled. I'm going to have like a date night and, maybe hang out and watch the movie and get ready for Christmas because I also love Christmas.
You know what's funny? It's so interesting when you said that. The thing popped into my head is that we've learned a lot about film and TV the last couple of years as we've been sort of venturing into that world a little bit. And
Mm-hmm.
one of the things I think again is this is sort of like behind the curtain, secrets of baseball or whatever that saying is. So some people just probably don't know this, but a movie like this with a massive superstar like Kristen Stewart in the lead is going to do well, really, or is going to do really big numbers and do well internationally.
Right.
And so I think also, there are corners of our culture here that are really progressive and really advanced, and so a story like coming out or keeping your sexuality a secret might seem like old news here, which is a sign of how progressive things have become.
Right.
But this is still an incredible coup, an incredible get for Clea to get someone like Kristen Stewart of that level to come and play a character like this and tell a story like this. I think it's going to bring, um, I don't know, like it's going to be important. My partner who I've been with for 5 years, she's been out since she was a teenager, but when she watched it, it really resonated with her. She was really emotional afterwards. She was like, I really understand how it can be like 2020 and there's still people you're not comfortable with telling. She grew up in a really religious household, and
Yeah.
I do a ton of work with this foundation called Love Loud, and
Mm-hmm.
we raise funds for LGBTQ youth in Utah and other rural communities that are religious, and there's still like a lot of people that struggle with who they are. And
Yeah.
I know, I'm sure you feel this way as well, like being a creative and being an artist, you hear stories all the time of people who are still struggling. And
Mhm.
it's why it's so important for all of us to be so transparent with our stories and make the art that we are. I think it's bringing
Yeah.
a lot of comfort to people. So good. I'm so happy for you and
Oh,
your trajectory. Coming out whenever it is still coming out, and it's exciting.
yeah, it is. It's a beautiful thing, no doubt. Yeah.
I feel like we're in therapy. I keep forgetting that
I
we're
know. I'm
on
trying to
live.
be like, it's just you and me. We're in therapy. So tell me, like, how are you doing? What do you need? How can I be there? I'm actively listening to you.
You are a very good active listener, I have to say.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh man. I don't want to keep I don't want to keep you. I know you're really busy. Like, do you want to hang out for a little bit longer? How are you feeling? We're checking in
This
here.
is great. I sort of had imagined I would at least be here with you for a half hour, so we still got like 10 minutes. Like, I don't know,
Cool.
do you have other
Great.
questions
Yeah.
or
I have a few. I have a few. I came prepared. I was like, we're gonna be maybe a little nervous, but we're gonna have sort of a roadmap that we're gonna be on.
you're going
I
to be
guess
doing this all day? You're going to be doing lives all day here on Women That Rock?
I'm going. So you're the only person that I'm doing a shared live with, but I kind of made a schedule where it's 11. So I think my next one is at 2:30, where I'm going live and I'm talking about my gear, and I'm like, this is what I played on the record, and I have a few great stories about the guitars that I own, and then later at 5:30 I'm doing a live stream. I'm just going to sing a few songs from the record, and then I think I'm going to go live for dinner. Cooking with Cartalk. It has like a nice ring to it, you know.
It
Hopefully I
does. I
don't,
like that.
hopefully I don't burn anything down.
Wait, so tell us all again, but what time are you going on to live stream? When will you be performing songs? At what
So
time?
I will be performing songs at 5:30 Pacific Standard Time.
Okay.
And that'll be, handful of songs. I'll take requests. And then at 7:30, I'm going to throw out questions about the record, if anybody wants to talk about Past Like Pollen, and, and then we're talking about the gear next at 2:30. I'll hop on and see if anybody wants to learn a thing or two about the pedals that I play, which are down here. Oh, Champ, are you going to come in? Hello. This is my cat. Say hello. He loves to just be right here. But yeah, it's been fun. Women That Rock asked me to take over, and I've never taken over before, and this is my first time. And I think I reached out to you in the middle of last week, and I was like, it would be cool if Tegan and I could have a nice talk about songwriting. And I was like, I know she's really busy, and
It's so nice though, like I'll say this, that this would be what I would call a pandemic perk, but we are very busy, but much less busy than we normally are, because at least we're at home, and it's really lovely to have these conversations, and it's lovely to connect. I know for Sarah and I, we had Where Does the Good Grow, but we also launched a t-shirt subscription club, and we Zoom with the club once a month, and it's not an exaggeration or hyperbolic of me to say that it's kind of the thing I look forward to all month long. It just brings me a lot of joy to see everybody's houses and their apartments and their animals and their faces. And, I really, it's been kind of a good reminder that I love what we do. And I love the people that listen to Tegan and Sarah. And I love being an artist. And I think we've toured so much over the last 20 years that I'd started to feel a little bit like tired of it, maybe. And now just this break has been so great. I feel really, really excited to go back and tour.
Yeah, me too. I mean, we were just getting our feet wet, I feel like, in a nice little pause. It's been a nice time to reflect and do some inner work that needed to be done. And
yeah. How much do you play music a day?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, we'll play. So I've been doing this thing for about 3 months now, where I get up at 5:30 in the morning every morning. I know. Why? I know. Everyone asks. They're like, you're the only person who does. I am trying to do this thing where I get up at 5:30. I make a cup of coffee. I write or play music for an hour.
Wow. Well, that's extremely disciplined of you. That's amazing.
I just read. Do you know that they're like an online media place? It's called, what is it? Creative Independent.
No.
So
I'll check.
Yeah, I'll message you. I believe it's Creative Independent, but they interview a lot of creative folks and they talk about process or, what it's like to be a filmmaker or what does, discipline and creativity look like? And they interview all types of creative folks. And I forget who they were interviewing, but this guy was like, if you want to practice your writing, do it every day. Get up and kind of set your alarm an hour before you would normally get up so that you're kind of still in that dream state a little bit.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So I'm also naturally a morning person. I've always gotten up at like 6 or 6:30. Get up with the chickens, as my grandmother would say. So at least an hour, but I'm trying to be more disciplined with my playing because I feel like I'm kind of stuck on guitar right now. And do I want to take lessons? Do I want to just be on the University of YouTube and kind of be a better player? So
I love that. I love that. I think that it's so awesome that you're asking yourself those questions. I think it's so easy to just slip into like, okay, I've got this ability, I've got this level, and it's fine. I just like, for me, guitars have always just been the vehicle to write a song. So for me, like having chops has never been interesting to me. But in the last couple of years, I've started to try to be a little bit better because I realized that like I am being lazy a little bit,
Yeah.
But that's so cool that you are doing that. So do you think you'll take lessons? That's inspiring.
I think I want to try to take, I mean, it's funny because I'm also a guitar teacher, but I teach like very, usually beginners or intermediate players. Like I'm not a shredder by any means.
Do you think that you could teach me how to figure out what key my songs are in?
Mm-hmm.
Because I've Googled it and looked it up and watched tutorials, and this sounds like a bit. It's crazy. I took, like a decade of classical piano. I've played guitar since I was 15. I just turned 40. I cannot figure out. I'm not pretending. I don't know how to tell what key my songs are in.
Well, you and me can figure that out. No problem.
So you swear we can figure that out? You can help me out because it's like it's become a block. It's like the fact that I can't get my driver's license. It's in the same category. I don't know.
Well, we can navigate that together.
See, even how you're saying it, I feel like you are a teacher. You're naturally like a teacher. You're like reassuring. You're like, that's fine. We'll figure that out. It's no big deal.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna be great. We got the office hours. We're in the office.
Great.
So.
I want to book you for an hour-long session where you show me how. Okay, great. I love this. This is great.
We're doing it. See the power of the internet. Bringing people together.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. I mean, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. I really appreciate it. It just unreal. Really.
Oh, it's my absolute pleasure, and I look forward to what the next record is going to sound like. But I encourage everyone watching, if you haven't heard the record, it's so good. And I'm going to make a note in my calendar right now and maybe try to sign on to watch you play live later.
Yeah. Of course, that's great.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, good luck today. And thanks to everybody who was watching.
Thanks everybody watching.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Wow. Tegan and Sarah have left. Alrighty, folks. That was a trip. That was a good time. Thank you for watching. Cool. That was great. I think I need to finish my cup of coffee now. I think the next thing is I'm going to be on around 2 or 2:30 to talk about the gear. So if you want to join in, okay. I'll talk to you later.